Breaking news this evening, President Jimmy Carter has died. He was 100 years old. The 39th president of the United States died more than a year after entering hospice care at his home in the small town of Plains, Georgia. Carter was the longest lived American president. Aside from president, he was a businessman, Navy officer, evangelist, politician, negotiator, author, woodworker, and citizen of the world. Among the things he will be remembered for is his love for his wife, Rosalind, who died at 96 in November of 2023. Former WRAL anchor David Crabtree interviewed the former president, Jimmy Carter, several times. He shares more about the former president's life.
There was a major headline on the editorial page of the Atlanta Constitution that said Jimmy Carter is running for what? And the what was about this today.
He did run and won, narrowly edging then President Gerald Ford in November of 1976. Jimmy Carter built a bridge from the end of the country's focus and fallout from Watergate to the dawn of the Reagan Revolution. He would serve only one term, losing in 1980 in a stinging and stunning electoral defeat as 44 states turned red for Reagan.
Jimmy Carter, good to have you back in North Carolina, Mr. President.
It would be years later when I met the former president. He came to our studios to talk of his latest book, A Remarkable Mother. He talked lovingly of Miss Lillian and his love of this country, the planet, and his creator.
She devoted her life to condemning racial segregation in one of the most conservative areas of Georgia, South Georgia. And she was pretty much impervious to criticism.
Carter, never shy about his Christianity, beamed as we talked of things of church. The 39th president kept his humor as we talked of his mother.
Quite often, the next day, I would have a press conference at the White House, and the first question would be, Mr. President, how do you respond to what your mother said on Merv Griffin last night?
D.C.
D.C., I used to live there.
At the time of his death, Jimmy Carter was much more highly regarded than when he lost re-election.
There, of course, was division.
Thad Woodard of Raleigh first met Carter when he invited him to speak at Pfeiffer College in 1976.
Carter came in as an outsider, but he pretty much caught fire.
Caught fire and outpaced favorite son Terry Sanford and George Wallace. Carter would preside over troubled times, a major gas shortage, 21% prime interest rates because of high inflation, and the Iranian hostage crisis, none of which he could have prevented. The highlight of the Carter presidency, Camp David and a deal for peace between Egypt and Israel. These three men clasping hands will forever be remembered. Jimmy Carter will also be remembered for writing dozens of books, his works with Habitat for Humanity, and his long marriage to the former First Lady, Rosalind Carter. For North Carolinians like Thad Woodard,
How do you think we should best remember Jimmy Carter?
As trying real hard on everything that he did.